Anti-fatness is rooted in anti-blackness.
Well, we're not doing logic today. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters, because truth conquers. Now, one of the woke absurdities of the day is two things. One, the body positivity community glorifying a medical condition that is proven to shorten lifespan. In other words, being overweight, and instead of either accepting yourself or working to make yourself healthier, you just say, oh, this is just as healthy as if I was actually healthy. And with that, we're now learning that being fat phobic, which is everybody apparently, fat phobic is rooted in racism. Yes, isn't everything, by the way? Welcome to 1984. It's all race, but I'm not doing race. Well, not doing racism is rooted in racism, so you bigot. Let's take a look at some of the scholars from the internet to help us learn ourselves about what's going on here.
How much people hate fat people?
It's a big assumption. I don't know anybody in my life anyway who just hates fat people. I don't understand. I also wonder if this guy is projecting his self-hatred onto the world around him, therefore he believes everybody hates him, and I don't know, he also doesn't look that overweight just from this shot. So wouldn't it be funny if he just hallucinates everybody hates me, and he's like 130 pounds, and he just also hallucinates that he's like 430 pounds? I don't know. Mental health of our nation ain't necessarily the sharpest knife in the national drawer right now. Let's hear more.
They just hate him. Like, there's like this.
Thank you for explaining that. People just effing hate fat people. Then he expands by saying they just hate him. Cool. That's great.
There's like this weird hatred it feels almost akin to racism.
Exactly.
This is not like racism, it is racism.
It is. Wouldn't racism actually be racism? Being fat phobic, which by the way is very questionable how many people you think are fat phobic, but wouldn't fat phobia be like its own thing? It's not like racism, it is racism. Nope, racism is racism.
Anti-fatness is rooted in anti-blackness.
Say more, scholar.
And the reason why people are pursuing thinness is because they're pursuing proximity to whiteness.
Yes, that's exactly why they're not pursuing health, they're not pursuing self-esteem, they're not pursuing fitness, they are pursuing whiteness. And I'm guessing her rationalization for it is actually the thing that's rooted in racism. Let's hear it.
The reason why people hate fat people is because people hate black people, and appearing curvier, bigger is associated with blackness.
Now, she associates it with blackness, and she associates thinness with whiteness. Those are racial stereotypes coming from her, not anywhere else, coming from her. It's funny watching people call other people bigots, then you hear their rationale for it, which calling this rationale is like, you know, being very generous, but their rationale just exposes them as exactly what they're accusing other people of doing. So in other words, her rationalization for why a hatred for fatness is a hatred for black people and a desire to be thin is just a desire to be white. And she's just exposing herself as like, yeah, I think all this based out of my racial stereotypes. It's great.
It's associated with blackness, especially black women, and that's why they're discriminated in the workplace.
There's a lot to connect there.
Overly sexualized, and
now we just overly sexualize. Let's just put that term in there too.
This has gone back for centuries and centuries.
Maybe trillions of years.
All systems of oppression, capitalism, sexism, racism, it all comes back to white supremacy.
It all does. Remember that. Fitness is white supremacy. Good health is white supremacy. Bad health is blackness, according to her.
Which is the foundation of the fabric of America and rules every sector and aspect of our society.
Every sector and aspect of our society? Most people I know not racist, and they're not blinded by a hatred for fat people. In fact, most people I know are not blinded by a hatred for anything other than maybe communism. But this is what those two scholars see in everybody.
Hey, fatty! The easiest fucking way to start the snake diet is this. Number one, take your fat pictures, you gross pig. take the pictures.
And he's actually a guy who helps a lot of people lose weight. He's got a rather abrupt style. It wouldn't be my own, but that's kind of like, I imagine what these two scholars, they look at the world around them and that's just what they see and hear, even though that's not really what's going on most of the time. So thus far in today's lesson, if you are unwilling to think for yourself, then we've established, and you can just mindlessly accept, that hatred for fat people is rooted in racism, and therefore thinness is associated with whiteness, and a desire to be thin, let alone healthy, is simply coming from your desire to be white or to be more white, potentially even albino. So cool, we've established that. Then there's the other aspect of the conversation on body positivity, if you will, and it's around complacency. It's around the 1984, let's just pretend being unhealthy is the same as being healthy. The only thing that's at risk is your life, if you believe that. Now, there was a recent fat convention called FatCon. Their words, not mine. And it was seemingly all about glorifying and being complacent. Hey, you're overweight. Cool. Instead of being a hateful, bigoted, racist, phobic by trying to get healthy, just celebrate our complacency. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, here's a question. What's with all the bird flu chatter in the past few weeks? And by the way, do birds actually get the flu? It almost seems like the tyrants are just plain Scrabble, put two words together and said, let's go with that. But real talk, something is unfolding, and they might be making this one more potent than the last one. I've seen like 15 different headlines recently. Here's one from USA Today. And I saw this ex-Harvard epidemiologist professor post this tweet. It's kind of true. Getting what you need before you need it is the best way to get it. But not to fear, my friends, because the wellness company has your back. Their Contagion Emergency Kit has a variety of medicines to treat respiratory illness that you would otherwise have to be in the hospital to get your hands on. But the wellness company removes the red tape, takes the power out of the system, and puts it back into you, the people, you having more control over your health and what you need. And look, 4.9 star reviews. People love the wellness company, including me. And remember, it's an election year, and we know who the desperate party is. So being prepared with a Contagion Kit is probably a good idea. Get the Contagion Kit now and save $50 with the code JPReacts. Just go to twc.health/JPReacts to get yours. Now back to the video.
Come with me to the first ever FatCon. Yes, that's right, haters. There is a convention just for us fats now.
Do you have to have stupid looking hair to get in? So they'd probably let me in.
There were so many amazing panels, ranging from Fat Liberation 101 to Fat Lesk.
By the way, the woman on that panel seems thin. I wonder if they rejected
To
me.
Fat Nerds. I even talked on a
I
panel.
like that. Wearing a mask. Oh, a couple people wearing masks. Wow, three out of these, like 6 people in the shot wearing masks. They are looking out for their health, which is rooted in racism.
Panel with the Plus Bus on 101 ways to lose the weight of fat hate.
Not lose weight, but lose the weight of fat hate.
An amazing plus-size fashion show featuring multiple designers. This one's Chub Rub. I came out to vend and help with the Plus Bus with a few pieces that I carry in their store. They had an incredible
A lot of people wearing masks here.
vendors hall with all
I wonder if they're Trump voters. Something tells me they're not.
artists, designers, plus-size vintage. Here's some of my art. And here is the amazing Chub Rub clothing booth. So cute. It was wonderful
great.
to connect with fans and new friends. Thank you so much for supporting my work. There was so much fat entertainment to be had. Look at this, crafts, cute little wall we put together. We got a few Grief Cat performances that were very funny. Here's a little fit check. I brought a look every day to the con. New friend. We had fat pool parties. Here's a little look I will be releasing for Valentine's Day. We did get up to shenanigans. I cannot wait for next year's FatCon.
Did she say shenanigans? Now, I certainly have no problem, like, whoever, whatever, you want to get together, do a convention about whatever. Like, cool, do what you want. Yet, the thing to point out there is the potential glorification and complacency of being dramatically overweight, which unfortunately has established medical issues involved. But to 1984 ourselves and try to pretend let alone convince other people to justify ourselves that this is just as healthy, potentially even healthier. That is a lie that we will call out, and it's a very obvious lie. It doesn't even need to be called out because it's so obvious. And the lie that like, oh, you just, yeah, everybody's fat phobic because everybody's racism. It's not like racism. It is racism. Okay, 1984. Your reality should be based on my imagination. I'll tell you what's true for you. That's not true for me. I just said it. It's true. With that said, these are some latest woke absurdities that we just shine the light of awareness on because that's what we do here. With that said, my freedom-loving friend, thank you for watching this video. Let me know if you saw anything in this video that appeared to not be true to you. We had scholars involved, so I think it's all fact-checked, but you do your own research. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on our next video.